From the Alvin and Rosalie Sarachek studio, PBS Kansas presents Hatteberg's People.
Time now for another half hour of Kansas life through the decades, as told through the lens of the one and only Larry Hatteberg.
Well, here's what's coming up.
I want to leave something behind. This is my home, you know. I want to leave something behind that my children or my great-grandchildren can come and say, hey, he wasn't so bad. Look what he did here, you know.
Artist Rick Regan had an ambitious idea to pay tribute to Native Americans and create a one-of-a-kind landmark in his hometown. Could it possibly happen? Also,
our car is always loaded. The last few years, it's just been loaded with dolls.
What was Mary Talbot going to do with all these dolls? We'll take you back to 2001 to fill you in. Plus,
I think they are a form of art. Just like an artist drawing a picture made out of junk brass, $1.25 a pound.
Ferrel Starner's art had a very practical purpose, well, for golfers anyway. See why the golfing world took notice of the putters he built in his Bueller garage. And we'll have this story.
I'm on a wonderful, exciting path. I have no idea where it's going to go, and I walk with faith.
Joyce Wessler admitted she liked to do things to excess. One of those things was her claim to fame. Learn all about it as we retell her story from 1996. Hello, I'm Susan Peters.
And I'm Larry Hatteberg. Those are just some of the stories we'll show you on this edition of Hatteberg's People. These stories are like old friends. Their lives radiate from the screen like prophets of the past. They were teachers, but not in a classroom. Instead, they taught about life to those around them who cared to listen, and I was their student.
Large-scale signature landmarks, such as the Keeper of the Plains, can help inspire a city and tell its story to the rest of the world. Well, in 1996, artist Rick Regan had the inspiration for another giant art project to pay homage to the city's Native American history.
Yeah, Rick dared to dream. He had a monumental vision, daring to carve his people's legacy in stone. But what would it take to make it happen?
It's something inside of me.
In the Indian world, the white buffalo has mystical and religious significance. For Rick Regan, a Wichita-born artist, this buffalo could have worldwide significance for Wichita.
Besides all the other aspects of the sculpture, I want to leave something behind. This is my home, you know. I want to leave something behind that my children or my great-grandchildren can come and say, hey, he wasn't so bad. Look what he did here, you know.
His sculpture of the white buffalo would stand at the Indian Center. Carved from solid marble and weighing 80 tons, it would be the largest carved quarried stone in the history of the world. Those who have heard about the project in Wichita are excited, and only one hurdle has to be overcome.
Money. An artist's nightmare. So the place right here, this circle, 60 foot in diameter, and it would be about right where we're standing.
While the white buffalo is his dream, he's also an accomplished artist in acrylics, many of them on display at the Southwest Galleries in Wichita. His work has been purchased for private collections by Burt Lancaster, Johnny Carson, David Carradine, and Winona Judd.
Mostly my paintings are from my dreams, from ceremonies that I've seen, things from reality. And my reality.
He's also pursued an acting career in such movies as Buffalo Girls, The Real West, and Blood Memories. But it is his Cherokee heritage and Indian teachings that focus his work and give him the creative spark.
Some people are artists, some people are writers, some people go to college, and no matter how much they learn, they still can't learn that spark, or whatever it is that's inside a person that drives you.
He hopes other Wichitans will be driven toward his spark, his dream of the white buffalo sculpture.
It stands for something grander than what we are sometimes. You know, it stands for something that we should be. I can see it coming across the prairie out in western Kansas on the train. I can see it sitting in front of the Indian Center. I can see my grandkids looking at it. Yeah, I think it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time.
And he waits.
Waiting for that one person out there that's going to come forth with something besides his pocketbook, but something in his heart that says he has to do this. And that person's out there. We're just waiting for you.
Well, unfortunately, almost 30 years later, the person has still not stepped forward. Now, Rick says he hasn't given up on the dream, though. Meanwhile, he now lives in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and has been doing a lot of acting in recent years. His stage name is Ricky Lee. Here he is on the set of one of his recent films, Apache Junction. Can you imagine the changes in people's lives?
I love it.
You go out to do one story, and over the years, the story changes and morphs into another one.
You know, one of the best things about this half-hour show, we update where these people live.
Oh, yeah, it's fascinating.
And the producer finds all these people, and it's fascinating that this guy, Ricky, is now an actor.
Yeah, I would have never guessed that in a million years, that his life would take that turn. But congratulations to him.
And guess what? He hasn't given up on the stone, so
Oh,
maybe someone will come forward after this.
We hope so.
There are all sorts of ways to make a difference in the lives of others. Sometimes it just takes some inspiration.
Yeah, Mary Talbot's inspiration was the poverty she saw when she visited Mexico and the needs of the young children there. Here's her story from 2001.
I just think of those little kids they don't have much. If I can help their Christmas by giving them a gift, that's what I'm going to do.
Near the Mexican border towns, this is what you want to see. This is not.
$33 to go.
Mary Talbot of Wichita and her husband spend their winters in Texas. The Mexican border, never far away.
And I had tears in my eyes.
A few years ago, Mary saw faces like these, faces of little girls who had no dolls for Christmas.
So I just decided I could give up something and do this, and that's what I did.
She decided to make a difference.
I got to be doing something. And I think this is the best thing I do.
Now she shops in places like Goodwill.
Got 3.
Buys used dolls
There they
that
are.
need a little work.
You won't know them when I get them cleaned up and fixed up.
For instance, do you have a discount card, ma'am?
No, I don't.
It'd be $1.56, ma'am. What do you do with them?
I clean them all up, give them baths, and I take them to Mexico to the children who don't have dolls.
Oh, wow, that's a good idea.
Yes. Our car is always loaded. The last few years, it's just been loaded with dolls. I do this for those sweet little girls in Mexico. They don't have anything. Most of them don't wear shoes. They're poor. They probably wouldn't get a doll. You know, it's good to help somebody out, and that's what I like to do.
In October, Mary will head south for the winter, loaded with a van full of Christmas dolls.
I definitely am working with friends, loving friends. They're a gift of love to these kids for me. I just want to make somebody happy. And that's what I'm doing it.
Well, no doubt Mary's dolls brought a lot of happiness down in Mexico. We're not sure how long she did this, though. She passed away in 2009 at age 85, but while she was alive, she was making a difference in children's lives.
You know what? And she did it without any quest for acknowledgement of what she was doing.
Right.
And that's someone who really does it for the love of giving.
Yeah,
And
it comes from the heart.
I'm glad you acknowledged her, though, and now we still remember her.
That's right.
This next story is about a man who found solace in the company of the wild. J.W. Vanderpool shared his home with creatures most of us would fear.
Now, a few were pets, most were not. Back in 1984, J.W. walked a fine line between love and livelihood.
His name is J.W. Vanderpool. His occupation? Trapper. His pets? Bobcats. His business? Also bobcats. Vanderpool lives south of Meade, Kansas, in a rural setting that's conducive to his lifestyle. These tame bobcats he's raised since birth. Their names? Tiger and Two Toes.
We took them away from their mother when they was about 9 days old, and we had to feed them every 3 hours, 24 hours a day, with an eyedropper at start, and then we moved over to a pet bottle, a pet baby bottle. And then after they got big enough, well, they'd come to the bottle just like a regular pet of any other kind, you know. And then we had an awful time getting them off of milk on a bottle to get them to change over to meat. We pretty near had to mix the meat, ground up meat with milk in order to get them switched over. But once they got over, well, then they got real aggressive. And ouch, quit biting me on the nose.
Between 800 and 1,500 bobcats are trapped annually in Kansas. They are not an endangered species. Vanderpool uses traps like these because they don't hurt the animal when the trap is sprung.
If you didn't have trapping and hunting seasons, well, your animals would just actually overpopulated and get diseased and everything, and maybe totally wipe themselves out.
Vanderpool's pet bobcats will be used as breeding stock. This requires a breeder's license, which he has. Many Kansas bobcats are trapped for their pelts. A good pelt could net a trapper $200, depending on the year and the demand.
Where are you going? No, don't bite again, you ding-a-ling.
Now, as you're watching this at home, you may be thinking, you know, they are cute and cuddly. Maybe they would make a nice pet. You may want to reconsider. This bobcat had been trapped by Vanderpool the day before. It's wild and displays the power that cats of this size possess. The Kansas Fish and Game Commission does not consider it wise to have wild animals as pets. Vanderpool has bobcats because he's a professional trapper and breeder.
Hey, lazy, come here.
And because he doesn't try to put human traits on them. He treats animals as animals, but still retains a fondness for them.
But a guy asked me if I'd take 800 for this tomcat, and I still got him. What are you doing, Two Toes, huh?
From near Meade, Kansas, this is Larry Hatteberg.
There's a good one. Did you get that?
J.W. died on his ranch in 2011 after a 5-year battle with cancer. Then he was 79 years old. And J.W.'s obituary says, in lieu of flowers, his wishes are to inspire people to cowboy up and get a colonoscopy. If I would have, I'd still be kicking, he said.
Isn't that incredible?
That just sounds like him. And if you could meet him, he just was kind of like an old cowboy doing a thing that most people aren't familiar with these bobcats.
With the bobcats.
With the bobcats. But he was a great guy, and you know, he had a couple that he called pets. I didn't call them pets, but
you didn't get near them.
I didn't
You're
get near them.
Hi.
No, bobcats can go off.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like that so much.
I
but
love
he
what
did.
he said in his obituary.
Oh, yeah. Isn't
As a
that great?
cowboy, I'd still be kicking if I had had a colonoscopy. And it's important advice for everybody. And he could have saved some lives by that.
That's right. Guys don't like to do that, though,
I know.
so he's sounding it out.
Absolutely.
Okay.
In this world full of unremarkable followers, Joyce Wessler has her own ways of thinking and living.
Now, Joyce was well known and much loved and didn't deny that she was a bit different. But people who knew her say that made her all the more lovable. She was truly an amazing attitude.
In each home, it is the personality behind the walls that brings it to life.
Half of my personality is sanguine, and that is someone that loves to be different.
Living in a home that is constantly being redecorated for the seasons, Joyce Wessler has one of those personalities you'll never forget.
I love wearing different clothing. I love to decorate my house. And probably the sanguine personality, whatever they do maybe in excess would be a kind word to use. And so if I'm going to entertain, I want to do everything in excess. If I dress, we probably wear too much jewelry.
Well, Joyce may be a bit hard on herself here. The rooms of her Hutchinson home reflect the personality of a woman who has never stopped learning, never stopped loving life, and simply never stops.
I'm on a wonderful, exciting path. I have no idea where it's going to go, and I walk with faith.
She also walks in the knowledge of hats. She's known around Hutchinson as the Hat Lady.
I have approximately 500 plus now, and I've collected hats from all over the world, but they're a statement. They tell you something.
Scattered throughout her home are hats of every shape, size, and color. She puts on programs about hats, even down to what each hat means when you wear it.
I'm very demure. I'm Victorian. I should be very prim and proper. I should do all the right things, and I would be a lady.
And what's fun to watch is her personality change with each hat.
You have to have self-confidence, number one, to wear a hat. I think that's a prerequisite. And many women come up to me and they say, oh, I'd love to wear a hat, but I'm just not comfortable. So you have to have enough self-confidence.
That's not a problem for Joyce.
I think I've always loved hats.
If a house reflects an owner's personality, then this home surely reflects Joyce Wessler. Like her life, each room holds a different interest. Surprises abound, and there's always, always more to see. So it is with Hutchinson's Hat Lady.
Well, I like to describe myself as energetic, full of life, appreciative of life. Life is a gift. This is the personality that has fun and would decorate a hat home.
Now, Joyce passed away 3 years after that story, but she is still well remembered and honored at the home of her daughter, Linda Frazier. Now, Linda has various displays in the house that pay tribute to her mother. Linda sold off many of the hats in recent years, but still has quite a few, and is something of a hat lady herself. Well, her mother, when I did the story, I thought she was an elegant woman.
Just wonderfully
She knew how to
elegant.
pose with the hats.
Did she?
Yeah, as I was photographing her with the story, and she posed in an elegant way that you would see in a magazine.
Isn't that neat?
Oh, she was a wonderful person.
There's something about hats that
There
can
is.
make you feel more elegant, more important, more poised, and she knew that. That's why.
She understood hats.
Some of the most amazing things come from the most unlikely places.
Well, that was certainly the case when it came to Ferrel Starner. What he made in his garage in Buhler, Kansas, caught the attention of Hollywood stars and U.S. presidents.
It is the rain sometimes that silently focuses our lives. It falls, we retreat. But in this retreat, there is a downpour of talent and art.
Oh, I played a lot of golf in the rain, but on a day like today, especially when it was raining harder, I get just about as much enjoyment out of working on the putt.
Ferrel Starner of Buhler is a guy who likes golf. Okay, loves golf.
Just makes me feel good.
In the summer issue of Golf Digest, they talked about Ferrel. Now, not about his game, but about his putter. The magazine says his is the best in the nation.
Some days I don't even eat. Just drink iced tea, and I'll work all day long on one of them.
Ferrel carves his putters out of brass and aluminum. And this retired Boilermaker knows what he's doing. And now, so does the rest of the country.
I don't copy off of any other bottom putter. I just start whittling on it, and whatever I come up with, well, that's it.
A garage of life's little collections is Ferrel's workplace. Simple tools used by a master craftsman. They wait like soldiers for battle.
I think they are a form of art. Just like an artist drawing a picture. Made out of junk brass, $1.25 a pound.
This guy can make junk brass go a long way, all the way to the White House.
I was very pleased.
3 presidents have played with Ferrel's putter: Eisenhower, Ford, and now Clinton, and he's got the letters to prove it.
I just enjoy making one and being able to play with it. Some of them work great, some of them not so good.
While the rain outside frustrates rabid golfers, inside these gleaming handmade putters blend beauty and art with a man's love for his game.
I really enjoy making them. Made me very happy to think that someone else would think that one of my putters was better than somebody else's.
Now, Ferrel kept making putters for several more years, and some of the other big names who played with his putters were Glenn Campbell, Michael Jordan, and Arnold Palmer. Ferrel lived until 2014. He was 85 years old. And what I'm always amazed about is when you roll into these little tiny Kansas towns, you know, you don't expect to find people like Ferrel.
No.
You know, who's making a worldwide reputation with putters.
With putters?
Yeah, you would have never guessed, right?
Arnold Palmer, Michael Jordan, play with them?
Yeah,
I
big
mean,
time people.
Unbelievable. But you go into these towns and you go, hey, there's someone cool, and put them up and make them stars.
Well, they're fun to talk to.
Aren't they?
They are.
Well, our final story this week is from 1979. Love these old stories, Larry's. This one is about Henry French. He was another talented Kansas craftsman.
Well, Frenchie, as they called him, had a knack for precision and working with tiny things.
Working at Boeing in Plant 2, Henry French, or Frenchie as his friends call him, may own the smallest toolbox in the world. The 46-year-old jig builder crafted a complete toolbox full of miniature tools that really work. He began working on his project in 1965.
Well, I was kind of crude way to do it, but I drew them out on a piece of paper, and then I drew off the separate parts, then filed them out, sawed them out with a 4-inch file, and used a 1/4-inch drum motor for a lathe and a mill, and a lot of sandpaper and a lot of time.
His tools include tin snips, pliers, left and right hand Dutchman, socket set, ratchet, and extension, and others. The tools even contain springs, just like standard varieties. Even though his shift is over, that doesn't mean Frenchie is through for the day. He hates to waste time, so while he's waiting for the parking lot to clear, he works on another hobby, carving.
The idea is not to get too big a hurry and take too big a cuts. I haven't got very good eyesight. I'm nearsighted. Without glasses, I guess I'm legally blind, but that don't seem to stop me, and my eyes get tired just like anybody else's. When I get tired, well, I put it down. Well, this is a pair of horses I've carved, painted with acrylic paints, shellac. This was pretty well exclusively done in the car. So my worst critic is myself. I'm not happy unless I get it the way I want it.
There's one other thing you should know about Frenchie. He lives in Fall River and drives 166 miles a day round trip to work. From Boeing, this is Larry Hatteberg.
I love doing that story on Frenchie's toolbox because people sitting in their car carving these little things, these tools, it boggles my mind.
It doesn't it?
You know, because they have this talent, this innate natural talent. Can't go to school for it.
Yeah.
You either have it or you don't.
Right.
But to meet him and tell her story, that's the fun part.
And the thing is he knew he had a lot of time in the parking lot to wait till the cars cleared out. So he said, Why don't I do this?
Exactly, because, you know, time is money. Time is everything.
Time's everything.
He didn't want to run out of it.
We don't have a lot of time, do
No,
we?
we don't.
Well,
okay.
Guess what? We just did.
Time for us to scoot.
It's time for us to get on out of here. Be sure to send us an email if you have a question or comment. Hatteberg's People at kpts.org is our address. Until next time, I'm Susan Peters.
And I'm Larry Hatteberg. It was great to spend this time with you. We'll see you again soon.